If you thought Formula One couldn't get any more dramatic, wait until you hear what just happened. Because the FIA has dropped a statement that is sending shockwaves through the entire paddock, and if you're a Lewis Hamilton fan, you are not ready for this. So make sure you watch till the very end, because what comes next is going to change how you see the sport forever. And if you're new here, hit that subscribe button right now, because we cover everything Formula One, everything drama, everything Lewis Hamilton, before anyone else does. So let's get straight into it, because this story is moving fast, and every hour brings a new twist. For weeks now, tension has been building between the FIA and several of the sport's biggest names. And Lewis Hamilton, being the outspoken, fearless voice that he is, has once again found himself at the center of controversy, not because he did anything wrong, but because he dared to speak the truth. And speaking the truth in Formula One, as we all know, comes with consequences, and this time, those consequences may have reached a boiling point that nobody, not even the most seasoned Paddock insiders, saw coming. Sources close to the situation say that after the events surrounding the Hungarian Grand Prix, tensions escalated behind closed doors, and what started as private conversations between team principals and race stewards has now spilled out into a full-blown public statement from the FIA itself, one that fans are calling both shocking and, frankly, long overdue, depending on which side of the argument you stand on. Some say this is the FIA finally taking a stand, cleaning up the sport, holding drivers accountable regardless of their star power, while others are furious, calling it an attack on one of the greatest drivers of all time, a targeted move designed to control the narrative rather than protect fair competition. And that split, that fire, that division among fans, is exactly why this story has exploded across social media in the last 24 hours. Just imagine being Lewis Hamilton in this moment, a 7-time world champion, a man who has fought his way from humble beginnings to become one of the most recognizable athletes on the planet, and now, in what should be a moment of legacy building, of mentoring young drivers, of enjoying the twilight of an already legendary career, he finds himself once again in the crosshairs of the governing body that is supposed to protect the integrity of the sport he loves, and that emotional weight, that constant battle between passion and politics, is something fans have watched Lewis carry for years, and every single time he speaks up about it, whether it's about diversity in racing, unfair penalties, or safety concerns, he does it because he genuinely cares about the future of Formula One, not because he wants attention, and that is exactly why so many fans feel so protective of him right now. According to insiders, the new FIA statement addresses conduct standards, driver communication protocols, and what many are interpreting as indirect criticism of comments made after recent races, comments that many believe were simply Lewis speaking honestly about decisions he felt were unjust. And if you've followed his career at all, you know that honesty has never been something Lewis Hamilton has been afraid of, even when it costs him politically. And that's a quality that has both earned him millions of loyal fans and, at times, put him at odds with the very institutions that govern the sport he has dedicated his entire life to. But here's where it gets even more interesting, because reports suggest that other drivers, teams, and even former F1 legends have started weighing in. Some defending the FIA's right to enforce standards, others openly criticizing what they see as inconsistent enforcement that seems to target certain drivers more harshly than others. And if that sounds familiar, it's because this isn't the first time accusations like this have surfaced in the sport, and it likely won't be the last, because Formula One has always existed in this delicate balance between entertainment, competition, and governance. And whenever that balance feels disrupted, fans notice immediately. What makes this moment so significant, though, is the timing, because this comes right after the emotional roller coaster of the Hungarian Grand Prix, a race that fans and analysts alike are still talking about, a race filled with high stakes, high emotion, and high controversy, the kind of race that reminds everyone why they fell in love with Formula One in the first place. And now, instead of the conversation being about incredible overtakes or strategic brilliance, it's being hijacked by governance drama, and for many longtime fans, that is exactly the problem, that instead of celebrating the sport, we're once again talking about the politics surrounding it. And honestly, how many times have we seen this pattern repeat itself, where the brilliance on track gets overshadowed by controversy off it? And look, whether you love the FIA's decision or hate it, one thing is clear. This moment says something much bigger about where Formula One is headed, about the tension between tradition and modernization, about how much power drivers should have to speak their minds versus how much control governing bodies should maintain to preserve order. And that tension isn't going away anytime soon, especially with a sport that is more global, more scrutinized, and more emotionally invested in than ever before. With millions of new fans joining every single season, many of them drawn specifically to outspoken personalities like Lewis Hamilton, who aren't afraid to challenge the status quo. Fans on social media have been reacting in real time, with hashtags trending, countless reaction videos popping up, and thousands of comments flooding in within hours of the statement being released. Some calling it brave, others calling it a mistake, but almost everyone agreeing on one thing, that Lewis Hamilton's influence on this sport is undeniable, whether the FIA likes it or not, and that no matter what governing bodies decide, the voice of the fans, the loyalty of the fans, and the passion of the fans will always be the heartbeat of Formula One, because at the end of the day, this sport doesn't exist without the people who show up every single race weekend, who defend their favorite drivers, who argue in comment sections, who wear the merchandise, who plan their entire Sundays around watching these cars fly around the track at speeds most of us can't even comprehend. So now the real question becomes, what happens next? Does Lewis respond publicly? Does he stay silent and let his performance on the track speak louder than words? Does the FIA double down on their statement, or walk it back under public pressure? And how will this affect the relationship between drivers and the governing body moving forward? Because if there's one thing we've learned from watching this sport for years, it's that nothing ever stays quiet for long, especially not when it involves someone as influential and beloved as Lewis Hamilton. And every single move from here, every press conference, every interview, every subtle comment, is going to be analyzed, dissected, and debated by fans and media alike. Because that's simply the nature of being one of the most watched athletes in the world. This is a story that is still developing, a story that could shift dramatically within days, maybe even hours, and that's exactly why you need to stay locked in, because we will be here covering every single update, every reaction, every twist, as soon as it happens, faster than anyone else. So make sure you are subscribed, make sure your notifications are turned on, because you do not want to miss what comes next in this saga. And honestly, this might just be the beginning of one of the biggest storylines Formula One has seen in years. The kind of storyline that gets talked about long after the season ends. The kind that becomes part of the sport's history. Think about it for a moment. Think about everything Lewis Hamilton has already overcome to get to where he is today. The doubters early in his career, the years of dominance, the criticism, the pressure of representing not just himself, but an entire generation of fans who saw themselves in him for the very first time. And now, even after all of that, even after everything he's already proven, he's still fighting, still being scrutinized, still being tested, and that resilience, that refusal to back down, is exactly why so many people admire him beyond just his talent behind the wheel. Now I want to hear from you, because this is where the conversation gets real. Do you think the FIA is right to hold drivers to strict conduct standards, even if it means going after fan favorites like Lewis Hamilton? Or do you think this is an unfair targeting of one of the sport's most outspoken and honest voices? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, because your opinion matters, and this community thrives on real conversation, real passion, and real love for this sport. So let's talk about it. Let's debate it, respectfully of course, because that's what makes this channel and this fan base so special. And honestly, some of the best conversations happen right there in the comments, where fans from different countries, different backgrounds, and different opinions come together over one shared love, this incredible sport. Before you go, if this video gave you even a little bit of that adrenaline rush, that curiosity, that need to know what happens next, do me a favor and smash that like button. It truly helps this channel grow and helps us keep bringing you fast, accurate, and passionate Formula One content. And if you haven't already, subscribe right now so you never miss a single update on this fast-moving story, because trust me, this is far from over, and when the next twist drops, you'll want to be the first to know, so don't scroll away just yet. Take 2 seconds, tap that subscribe button, and turn on notifications so this channel pops up the moment something new breaks. Formula One has always been more than just a sport. It's emotion, it's drama, it's human beings pushing themselves to the absolute limit while navigating politics, pressure, and public scrutiny at the same time. And moments like this, moments involving someone like Lewis Hamilton, remind us exactly why we fell in love with this sport in the first place. Because it's never just about the cars, it's about the people, the stories, the battles both on and off the track. And this FIA statement, whether it's remembered as a turning point or a footnote, is already proving just how deeply invested this fan base truly is. And that passion, that fire, that refusal to stay silent, is what makes Formula One fans some of the most loyal in all of sports. So stay tuned, stay subscribed, and stay ready, because the next update on this story could drop at any moment. And when it does, we'll be right here breaking it down for you, piece by piece, moment by moment, just like we always do, because that's our promise to you, that no matter how fast this story moves, no matter how many twists and turns it takes, we will be right there with you, keeping you informed, keeping you engaged, and keeping the conversation going. Thank you so much for watching. Drop a comment, share this video with another F1 fan who needs to see this, and I'll see you in the next video.